The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayors and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by...
Each week, our community makes history. Each week, you make history. And each week, there's only one source to turn to for the first take on history. You know what that is? Subscribe to the Sentinel right now to discover the history being made in your own backyard.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. More than just your news, it's your history.
Welcome, everyone, to this week's version of the Mayors and Supervisors Update. I'm Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and each week at 1 o'clock, we show you everything that we know from around our community. This week, we're going to be starting off with Jerry in the town of Rush. Jerry, how are we doing in Rush?
Well, that is a introduction. It's a tough act to follow. But because I am from the best kept secret in Western New York, I will try my best. And I know people don't want to hear more about COVID, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm just hoping that it'll go away, and I'm hoping that we will have openings as options to participate in the not too distant future. I have noticed lately that speeding in the hamlet has become a practice for some people. I have asked the sheriff's department to put a speed trailer someplace in the hamlet and sometime soon, and they have agreed to do that. The highway department snow fence has pretty much been taken up. The lawn repair has pretty much been done, and now they're going to work on equipment for the summer use. Rec programs are part of what we're waiting for to happen. I've spoken with the recreation director, and we hope that recreation programs will open up for this summer and elsewhere also. It won't be long, we'll be going into our budget prep season, and assisting me in that effort will be our new finance director, Christine Pereira, and that'll be her first time at it, and that'll be my second time at it. So I'm hoping together we can produce something that's reasonable. The library project that you've heard me mention so many times is headed toward finish. They are doing outside trim work now, not today because it was raining, but I think it looks pretty nice, and I like it that the roof does not leak. And I hope other people appreciate that. The last thing I want to mention is our town-wide reassessment program, which has drawn so many people out of the shadows. And I will let you know that the next town board meeting, which is next Wednesday, we will have additional information, and we will have a question and answer session with our assessor. So if you have a complaint or you have a concern or you have an opinion, please log into our Zoom session at our next town board meeting and take away some factual information rather than the locker room lawyer information that seems to be going around quite well. Anyway, I'll stop there and wish the rest of you happy spring. It's on its way.
All right, thanks, Jerry. John, how about the town of Mendon? What's cooking there?
Thanks for having us again, Chris. As I mentioned prior, I just like to repeat this, that we do have brush pickup starting on Monday, April 26th. We'll start on the east side of town and work west. Usually takes about 2 weeks, maybe 3, based on what I've seen out there right now. Probably a couple of weeks will cover it. And if residents want to bring their brush to the highway department, they can do that during normal business hours. and that is the town outside the village. The village does separate brush pickup, just to clarify that. We're going to be upgrading our flowers and flags and banners in the hamlet this spring. So we have quite a few things on our agenda for proceeding with upgrading all those things in the hamlet of Mendon. As many of you have probably seen in the news, New York State has legalized marijuana. So that is absolutely something that we are going to be looking at going forward as to any type of response from the town. The American Rescue Plan, we're still getting information on that. We expect even more to come down, still waiting on some details from the Treasury Department. And as we get more and more information, we'll certainly pass that on to residents. We received our check for the grant for our electric car station that is at the Mendon Public Library. We applied for a grant, received that check. Council of Governments in Monroe County has been meeting lately regarding shared services, and we've been proceeding. I did have a meeting with most of the people on this call with Congressman Jacobs recently that was held in Wheatland, very informative. And I would just like to remind people, social media has been very popular, and I think this dovetails a little bit into what Jerry was saying earlier, that at least from the town of Mendon, we don't respond to social media. We are more than happy to respond to emails, phone calls, stopping, seeing someone locally at any business or wherever. But we don't get into, we do have a social media page. We do like to post information on that, as well as using this venue, the Sentinel, to make sure that our residents are getting information. However, we don't respond to social media. So thank you again, Chris. And as Jerry said, happy spring. We're in favor of this good weather.
Okay, so let's go with Mike in the town of Lima. How we doing, Mike?
Well, I am enjoying the start of spring and the start of the pollen season, which, as always, has knocked me out. However, it is with some great sadness that we have to say goodbye to our longtime historian, Joyce Rapp. Joyce passed away last week at 96 years old. She managed our Veterans Pledge program, bringing in vets to lead off our board meetings. She wrote countless articles and was always combing through the old minute books, mining those nuggets of history that always have a bearing on what we're doing today. She will be missed always. The VA of the Finger Lakes healthcare system will be holding a COVID-19 vaccination clinic on Saturday, April 17th. This is the one-shot J&J vaccine. It is 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Livingston County Conference Center, which is at 1 Murray Hill Drive in Mount Morris, up at the Murray Hill campus there. It is open to anyone who served in the military, their caregivers, and spouses. To schedule, call 585-393-7401 and choose option 3. That's 585-393-7401. Choose option 3. They have not gotten a lot of appointments in yet, so you still kind of have your pick. Congratulations are in order for Livingston County Health Department Director Jennifer Rodriguez. She is being honored with the Rochester Business Journal's Women of Excellence Award. This is an honor well-deserved for one of the hardest working people I know. And lastly, at the April 6th town board meeting, the start of the dog water survey was approved. We call it a dog water survey because it combines the dog census with the water survey. The dog census is done every 10 to 15 years to ensure that dogs are licensed and that everything is proper there. The water survey gathers data as the first step in establishing a water district. And this would be for water outside of the village limits in Lima, where we already have some water districts in some areas. When you receive the letters, please fill them in and return it. The second step is the firm will be out knocking on doors. If you did forget to license your dog, please stop by and see the town clerk, and be sure to bring the veterinarian records with you. If you have any questions, you can call the clerk ahead of time at 582-1130. That's all I have, Chris.
All right, thanks, Mike. Rick, Honeoye Falls, what do we got going on there?
Well, hello to everyone. It is great to see everyone. And I'm going to say, ditto on a lot of the things I think. Jerry always gives us a good prelude to some of the things that we're working on as well. I will also agree that every year, this time of year, in the village and in the town, certainly the speed control seems to get a little bit out of whack. So we too reach out to the Monroe County Sheriffs and the New York State Troopers each and every year, asking for a little bit of assistance. And we are starting to see some of that assistance show up, and we appreciate their support. We want people to get from point A to point B as quickly and safely as possible, but within the limits. We don't like issuing tickets, but folks, you need to be aware that we are asking the Sheriff's Department and state troopers to issue tickets. If you're speeding, we're going to try to catch you. We need people to slow down. The recreation program, that's a joint program with the school district, the town and village of Lima, the town of Mendon and Honeoye Falls and Bloomfield, is in full registration process. We're starting to see some numbers on that. So we're looking forward to that summer rec program happening this year. Certainly things can change, but they are moving forward with the registration process. So that's positive. The village of Honeoye Falls is planning on going back to open meetings this month. We are going to still have the Zoom attribute as well. And we will leave it up to our various committees if they wish to have an open meeting or keep it virtual. But the village board will be moving, as of right now, will be moving to an open meeting, very limited space in our small meeting room. But we are going to open meetings, and we will still have the Zoom aspect as well. So we're going to see how that works. And we're just going to, we'll change with the times if need be. Let's see, as Supervisor Moffitt had already mentioned, the legalization of adult use cannabis has moved forward. This is going to have a lot of discussion topics with it. Supervisor Moffitt and I did speak this week. And I think we're all going to take a lot of, well, I shouldn't say all of us. I do know that we're going to take hopefully some similar approaches where we're going to ask our residents what their thought process is. We're planning on reaching out to the school district and the sheriff's department and, law enforcement, and talk to our business owners as well, and just see what their input is. We have until December 31st to make that final decision of whether we as a community opt in or opt out. So we're going to take that time to make sure that we make what we hope will be the right decision for our respective communities. And that's really it. I guess, as Mike had mentioned, certainly a big loss from Lima's standpoint with Joyce Rapp. The village and town also had a loss this past week of a former business owner and very active local member, Don Pettisano, and we'll certainly miss Don as well, and our best wishes to his family. So that's it for Honeoye Falls, and thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Rick. Eileen, Scottsville, are things going swimmingly there?
Oh, that was bad. We can only hope. Congratulations to you on that first place in best video project. How wonderful. I know these meetings have been a help to me in seeing what's going on in other municipalities and kind of collecting my thoughts at the end of the week too, as well as giving information to our residents. So congratulations and thank you for this platform for us to do this.
Thank you.
Anyway, onward and upward. Our organizational meeting was held this past Monday, where policies, for our residents know, policies are approved, financial institutions are designated, appointments are made so that we can get on with the business of the new year. Our regular board meeting will be held remotely on Tuesday, April 13th at 6:30 p.m. You can click on the link. It'll be on our website to join the meeting. There will be a public hearing at this meeting on the 2021-2022 budget, and a copy of the budget can be found on the village website. Public comment on the budget can be given at the public hearing, or comments can be sent into our office. We have stayed under the tax cap, so this is good, and I think people will be pleased with our budget for the coming year. COVID is still a part of our lives, and as we go into the spring and summer months, it still is going to affect some things in the village of Scottsville. We're waiting on some details on the recreation program to see what use we will need of Johnson Park for the summer. Also, unfortunately, the Memorial Day parade and speeches have been canceled again for this year. A small ceremony will be done at the Legion. Flags will be placed in the cemetery, and there will be a flag raising at the Legion at noon for Legion members. Farmers Market has also been canceled for the summer, partly because of concerns for the Legion. The Legion is still closed to the public right now, so the farmers market has also been canceled for the summer. Hopefully things will improve, and next year all these things will be on the docket again. Everybody's mentioning the speeding, and I will just put my 2 cents in too. Speeding is a big issue in the village of Scottsville. I talked with the Monroe County Sheriff, and they are always very cooperative in trying to get, patrols out here to watch for speeding, but it's difficult. The other thing that we also have an issue with in the summer, especially the summer months, are the unregistered vehicles that use the public roads, mini bikes, dirt bikes, scooters, things that are not registered and cannot be registered in New York State and should not be on the public roads. So this is just an announcement asking everybody to please follow this. When we have somebody on a small dirt bike coming out from behind a car, they can't be seen. And please use these vehicles in their proper places. The Greenway and Catawaugus Park. Just a reminder that Arbor Day and the I Love My Park Day are May 1st. And the Forestry Board is doing a small ceremony at the Triangle at Grove and Rochester Streets. And the Greenway is doing a trail cleanup at the Scottsville site. As we have mentioned before, last year our Catawaugus Park was really overwhelmed with people, partly because of social media. Excuse me a minute. It became a very popular place and caused several problems for the village throughout the summer. And of course, that means change on our part. The Greenway goes through Catawaugus Park. So we have been cooperating with the State Parks and Recreation Department to develop some rules and guidelines for the park and that section of the greenway that goes to the park, including the bridge. So we need to create the guidelines for the use and enjoyment of all people in the park. And we'll keep you updated on how we are doing on that. Right now, the DPW is taking care of putting up the flags and hometown hero banners on Main Street. Brush and yard cleanup is still going on, and the flower boxes will be prepared for Main Street. As mentioned, we are looking into the American Rescue Plan and what that means for the village, as well as the cannabis legislation that was passed in Albany and how that will affect us. And I appreciate the comments that I've heard from others about this. I appreciate your input as to how you might be handling this too. Let's see. I think that's about it for us, and we wish everybody a good weekend. Enjoy.
All right. Thank you, Eileen. Todd, West Bloomfield. I see you got the memo about the Red Shirt Day.
I did, in memory of Tiger Woods, since he can't play. So, why not? In regards to most of the town operations, I think it's already been addressed by everybody else in regards to snow fence and upcoming meetings and things like that. I think everyone's following relatively the same guidelines. A couple of comments that I wanted to make after talking to the school superintendent this morning. The schools are still kind of waiting and looking for guidance from the state. It's unclear now that 16-plus-year-olds can be vaccinated, what that might mean for the upcoming prom season, et cetera, how and where those events might be held, what those numbers might be. So just encourage families and everybody else to continue doing their own due diligence and what they feel like they want to do in regards to vaccines. Remember that depending on which version of the vaccine you take, it can take up to 45 days before you're actually considered vaccinated, based on the timing in between the 2-dose vaccines or the length of time after the 1-dose vaccine. So something to keep in mind if you think that there's an event that you might want to be attending, later in the May timeframe or early June. It's time to start planning for that now. After you get vaccinated, please make sure that you're still maintaining social distancing and wearing masks. I have seen more instances of folks who have been vaccinated not being as diligent with their mask wearing when they are in public as they were prior to being vaccinated. So please make sure that you're respecting others and continue to wear your mask when you're in public. In regards to cannabis legislation in Ontario County, we will be doing a study and kind of doing a white paper for the municipalities within the county. It will be important for the neighboring municipalities, and as we cross county borders, that there's at least some discussion about consistency, because it's been seen in other states where it's pretty easy to drive from West Bloomfield to Lima if one has it and the other doesn't, or vice versa. And so look forward to that discussion among our group here and what people are thinking in regards to that legislation, because there will be impacts. If it's where the differences are will have an impact. Snow fence and everything is coming down. Prouty Park is starting to be opened up. We're seeing the lacrosse, softball, soccer teams making reservations for use of the fields. Pavilion rental agreement has been updated. So if you're looking to rent that pavilion, please make sure you're in contact with the clerk. There's an updated version of that with some additional language in regards to cleaning and following CDC and state guidelines if you're using the pavilion. Likewise, we are looking forward to trying to open the community room here at the new town hall for events and for people to be able to rent or schedule that space. And there's an updated agreement also available from the town clerk in regards to renting and using the community room. And we do still have several of these smaller composters from last year's or 2 years ago now, composting sessions with the county. So if anyone has an interest in one of the smaller composters, please just shoot me an email or give me a phone call. I think we have about 7 or 8 of them left. So we would like to make sure that they get into the hands of any residents who would like to use them. There are some larger ones available through East Bloomfield. That was part of our partnership. So if you're interested in a larger outdoor one, let me know and I can work with East Bloomfield for you on that behalf. Other than that, that's it for me, and look forward to the continuing opening of spring. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Anybody else have any last minute thoughts that they might have forgotten?
I have a last minute announcement, Chris.
Okay.
And that is, I will present an Earth Day proclamation on April 15th. That's a Thursday at 4 p.m. at the town hall. And along with that, on the 17th, which is 2 days later, obviously, we will start our annual roadside cleanup that's done by citizens who volunteered to participate. This year will be less group organized because of the COVID. So we would appreciate people who want to take ownership of their street or an adjoining street and do roadside cleanup. We will announce where you can deposit those trash bags, and we will take care of it from that point. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, thank you all. We want to remind everybody that we're live every Sunday on Facebook and YouTube. You can just go there and watch us at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's right, 1 o'clock Sundays. All right, that's all for now. So bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.
Imagine yourself communicating with a difference. Pan-Dimensional Solutions helps you do this. Whether live spectator events, taped broadcasts, or real-time audience-engaging programs, you can benefit immediately from the tools Pan-Dimensional Solutions will share with you. Do you want to make a difference? Contact us at pandimensional.com.